information at www.westmetro.org.
Come be a part of a church where all are welcome.
Crossover Radio. Radio with a purpose.
All right, good morning. This is Higher Tech. That's right, technology with a purpose on Crossover Radio, radio with a purpose. That's right, we are glad to be with you again this morning. If you are checking us out right now on Facebook Live, I'd like you to do two things. For one, let me know. Say, hey, I'm here, Evan. I'm listening. The other thing is, I would also like for you to share with your friends and family. That would be fantastic. Got a lot of things going on this morning. Would love for you and all of your loved ones to hear about. And I think it's going to be a really great show. And we're going to be talking about a lot this morning. We're going to be discussing a few different things. One of them is how to troubleshoot some of your wireless devices when they don't connect. And I'm thinking more so along the lines of like a wireless mouse, wireless keyboard, things like that. And if you're connecting them to your iPad, your laptop, your PC, your smartphone, that will also be applicable here. And so I definitely want to be able to just kind of go over those different things and see how we might be able to be a benefit and help to you. We are also, we are also going to be talking about the Amazon FireTV stick. So if that's something you've been interested in and you're wondering about that, I'm going to give a review of the Amazon FireTV stick and be able to hopefully give you some good tips and advice for that. Last but not least, though, we will also be getting a live update from the Hill. That's right. We will be getting a live update from Jeremy and Phil, who are actually in Washington, D.C. right now for the immigration forum that's going to be going on today through, I believe, Friday, if I'm not mistaken. And so it's going to be a really great time. We're going to be getting some different thoughts and updates from them as far as the goings on and what to expect from that. I also know that we have a special interview that will be coming up from those two gentlemen tomorrow. And so you'll want to stay tuned for that. You'll want to be paying attention for that. That way you can be aware of the really great interviews and content we have coming up from the Immigration Forum. But again, this is Higher Tech. Man, just so many things that we can get to technology-wise. But I guess if we're going to begin the show, definitely want to begin with our condolences to the families and friends, the loved ones who have been affected by the Las Vegas shootings. That is just such a terrible deal, such a terrible situation, and definitely very heartbreaking. But definitely our thoughts, our prayers, and whatever help that we can give to those families. Man, it's just a really, really crazy deal and a really, really tragic situation. And so definitely our thoughts, prayers, and help to you. And we pray that God helps you and brings you through that time. This is such a terrible, terrible thing. I can't even imagine. I can't imagine what going through that is like, both in this situation and also dealing with it as a loved one. And so we definitely, our hearts go out to you. couple of things I want to get to in this very first segment. For one, our update from the two gentlemen, Jeremy and Phil, in Washington, D.C., should be occurring sometime between now and maybe even at 7:20. And so that interview will be coming up here very soon, actually. That update, more so, will be coming to you very soon. And so you'll want to definitely keep your ears tuned for that. As far as some of the initial tech things I want to get to, there weren't a ton of things that made huge waves in the tech world in the last week. There's definitely tech news, especially with the way that technology works. There's always tech news, but nothing that really just like took me by surprise or ultimately that kind of got me interested or super interested. A couple of things though to kind of note. For all of you who were maybe affected by the Yahoo breach, it occurred in 2013, which I know most people are going to go, who cares? And that's fine. But if for all those who were affected by the Yahoo security breach back in 2013, where they had so many email accounts that were hacked, the rhetoric then apparently was that 1 billion or so were affected of their users, about 33%. However, they just released an update that all of Yahoo's 3 billion users were affected. All of them. Period. This just goes to show you that if you ever are with a company or an account that says, "Oh, we had a security breach, big time security breach, and people's accounts were affected, but it may not have been yours," it's almost safe to assume that yours was potentially affected. Here, Yahoo either A, did not know, I don't believe that, or B, did not tell the truth, that's probably more likely, about their security breach. And so if you have a Yahoo account, make sure that you've at least changed the password and the security settings and the reset stuff, because all that likely got changed, and or all that likely got compromised. And you'll probably want to change other accounts if you haven't already, due to this security breach that occurred back in 2013. Now, if you already did that, you already changed everything's set, don't panic. But just a word of advice to you, that if you have anything that connects to your email, any other accounts or Facebook or services that use your Yahoo email and potentially had passwords and things like that sent to it, I'm just letting you know that if you just have an account with anyone else and you had a Yahoo email and you didn't reset it back then, it might be worth a thought to just go ahead and just change your passwords. That's just my advice. Because all of Yahoo got hacked. Period. Yeah, so that was fun. Thank you, Yahoo. Thank you, Yahoo, for at least telling us now. I guess better late than never, maybe? I don't know. I'm not quite for sure on this. I'm just a little bit confused as to why. Well, I'm not confused as to why they didn't tell us. I'm just confused as to why they didn't tell us. They told you, hey, we had 1 billion affected, and then now it's like, oh yeah, we had all 3 billion affected. It's just, it's pretty, man. I don't know. I don't know all the details. I don't have all the facts, all the real facts. But, anyways, it says this article on ABC News that's talking about this says companies often don't know the full extent of a breach and have to revise statements about how it affects customers years later, said Ben Johnson, co-founder and chief technology officer for Obsidian Security, based in Newport Beach, California. Johnson said Yahoo might never know exactly what was accessed. The fact is, attackers are having field days, and the problem is only going to get worse, he said. I do agree with that. I do agree with that. Sometimes you don't know the reach. I don't know. I still have a hard time believing it. That they didn't at least know it was worse than $1 billion. But maybe not. Maybe they did not. I will give them the benefit of the doubt. All right. So that was one thing that was kind of interesting as far as some recent news that I thought was kind of intriguing to find out. So some other tech things that we can discuss right now. Let me talk about this. Let me kind of give you some technology deals that are going on right now. And I'm using a website called techbargains.com. They have from time to time different deals that go on. And they have some that are okay, some that are refurbished, and then some that are brand new. Again, Dell. Dell is offering a let's see here. Is it on Dell's website? Let's see here. We're going to actually see. Dell has a special deal on laptops, and it's the Inspiron 5000. It's a really, really good laptop. Has the Core i7, the Intel Core i7 processor. Has 8 gig of RAM. Now it does not have an SSD in it, and so that would be the only kind of caveat for me. But the word is if you put in a special coupon code, you get it for $460. That's a pretty good deal. It's a pretty good deal for sure. So if you're looking for a laptop, that's an option. So that's something to kind of keep in mind. In fact, speaking of the Fire TV stick that I was referencing earlier, wow, that's a really good deal by Amazon. This is kind of cool. All right. So let me give you this deal. If you have been interested in the Fire TV stick and you want to know, okay, it's actually just the Fire TV, but it's like a smaller version maybe from what it kind of looks like. If you've been interested in that, and you've been interested in the Amazon Echoes, right now Amazon has a really special deal. Okay, really special deal. It's the Fire TV with 4K Ultra HD support. Okay, so if you're getting one, and you know eventually you'll probably wind up having a 4K because that's kind of the technology now, and the other ones are slowly going to be phased out. I mean the 1080p will still be around for a long time, but anyways, if you're looking at the 4Ks and you want to have technology which will last you into the future with that future tech, this is a pretty good deal. And if you want an Echo, Amazon is offering the Fire TV 4K with the Echo Dot for $80. $80. That's a really good deal. That's a really, really good deal overall if you're wanting both those devices. Just the Fire TV on its own, $70. So that means you're getting the Echo. You're getting the Echo Dot actually very cheap. You're getting it for $20. So if you're kind of looking for something like that, there you go. The Echo Dot is normally $50, 50, and you can get it for basically $20 because the way the cost goes for the Fire TV. It also is the same kind of deal if you just buy a Fire TV stick, which is the actual thing I'm going to be reviewing today. The Fire TV stick. Now that does not have 4K support, but if you don't really care about that, hey, I'm not going to really be getting a 4K TV for a long time. I just want something to get me by for now. You can get the Fire TV stick for $40, okay, on Amazon. You can get the Fire TV stick and the Echo Dot for $60. I'm rounding up. $39.99, $59.99. Okay, right off Amazon's website, get it delivered to your front door. If that's what you're interested in. And again, that is what I'm going to be reviewing today. So that's kind of a little bit of a precursor, kind of let you know what the price is for those FireTV sticks. They are really, really good streaming devices. So if you've been looking at cutting the cord, which we talked about either last week or the week before, but if you've been looking to cut the cord from cable, that would be my recommendation. That'd be one of my recommendations. So check it out. You'll definitely want to check it out. You'll definitely want to listen to the show. That way you can get my review of it. The review of the Amazon Fire TV stick is going to be coming a little bit later in the show, but I think it's a really sharp device. And so that's just something to kind of be aware of. All right, let's do this. We're going to roll to an early break. When we come back, I will give you Rapid Rewind, where we review all the top stories, or some of the top stories in the last week. That way, you can be up to date on your technology news and happenings. All right, we will be right back after these short messages.
Hey, newly engaged couples, are you tired of the same ho-hum, boring wedding reception every weekend? Don't you want yours to be the party everyone's talking about 3 months later? Then give us a call today at BTP Productions. We offer online planning forms, the best OKC DJs, lighting and sound packages, ceremony packages, and anytime consultations. We put you in total control of your party so you get your reception your way. Call us today at 405-609-9980. That's 405-609-9980. Or find us on Facebook. That's BTP Productions. The right music, the right DJ equals BTP Productions. Call today.
Crossover Radio is the best station I have ever listened to, even over other Christian stations. They are such a blessing. God uses this radio station that God started through the DJs and everyone on there to bless us and to show us Him.
Do you love coffee? Does your church, office, or business need coffee? What about getting amazing quality coffee at home from a business that serves our community and the world? Grounds for Compassion can meet your needs. The amazing staff at Grounds for Compassion would love to connect with you. There are 14 varieties, so you can't go wrong. Check out Grounds for Compassion on Facebook, Instagram, or at g4c.coffee, where you can place your order. Grounds for Compassion, coffee with conviction.
Crossover Radio. Radio with a purpose.
Good morning. This is Higher Tech on Crossover Radio. This is Higher Tech, technology with a purpose on Crossover Radio. Radio with a purpose. We are actually joined right now by a very good friend of the show, a very good friend of the station. That's right. It's the one, the only, Jeremy Coleman. How's it going, Jeremy?
Man, it's good. I also drugged Phil along.
All
maybe
right.
that's the I'm about to say. Oh man. So yeah, we're just we're gearing up for our day in DC right now, and so I actually text you like in the middle of the night. I was like, "Hey, I don't think we're going to be in a good place to do a call." But then it ended up that we are in a good place to do a call. So, and you didn't get my text, so it all worked out.
It all worked out. That's right. It all worked out in the end. I got your text when it said, "Hey, did you get my text this morning?" And I was like, "Huh, No, I don't remember getting a text. And then all of a sudden, as I pull yours up, then it's like, oh, there's the text. So that was great. Thank you, Apple. I'm going to blame Apple on that one. But yeah. So how was y'all's flight to Washington?
It was good, man. The flight was uneventful. I made new friends with people in Myro. This is Philip, and we had a grand old time. All of the other rows in the plane were very jealous of us, but that's pretty much par for the course. But it was a good flight. We got in super late. We were going to try to go do a coffee with Langford, but we decided that since we're about to embrace basically a pretty hard 48 hours here, that sleep was more important, so we can really attack what we got going on with 100%. And so, man, we're gearing up. We're about to take Metro in here in a minute into town, and we're gonna try to do some good, man.
Man, that sounds very, very exciting. Very excited for you guys. It's a really, really great opportunity, right? Right, Jeremy?
Yeah, definitely a really good opportunity, not only to cover a really important topic, but to also be involved in encouraging our legislators to, come up with a game plan when it comes to immigration and making good immigration reform, and also protecting people who deserve to find solace in this country. I know your show's not a political show, so I don't want to get your listeners chiming in like with all their, because that's not what they're listening for this morning. All I'm saying is that we feel like that we're doing what is laid out in Scripture, what God's called us to do, and so we're gonna be hanging out, being a part of that, and getting some good interviews. And like I said, tomorrow morning, 7:30 to 8 o'clock. Central Time, which will be 8:30 to 9 here. We're going to be live with Senator Langford on Crossover Radio.
Man, that's super exciting. Can you give that time just one more time? Make sure all of our listeners got it.
Yeah. So this is Philip, guys. It's so Central Time. So for most of our listener base, is going to be 7:30 to 8, 8:30 to 9 here on the Eastern Seaboard, and extrapolate time zones for our friends in Oregon, I guess. I mean, early if you're in the greater Portland area to listen to your Crossover Radio.
5:30 a.m.
Yeah. So, set the alarm, grab some coffee. But no, it's going to be awesome. We're going to definitely make sure to replay and repost that video, and then on the radio side as well. And we actually need some help. We need our listeners to do something for us. We are going to reserve one question for the senator as a listener question. So we need to use Facebook Messenger to comment on this video. We'll be checking that, or to text into the text line 405-494-0234 to submit a question, and one listener will have their question picked out, and we'll ask it of Senator Langford. So this is you guys' chance to let us be your voice, literally for a second. And so
that's super
be sure
exciting.
Be sure to participate in that, man. Dude, we're super pumped about it. Senator Langford's office has been very gracious and letting us come on. They've actually listened to the radio, to our radio station. They've listened to a lot of the shows, and they're like, dudes, we love what you guys are doing. That's what they have said. Dude, we love it, because that's how we stalk here in Washington, D.C., evidently. Don't get it twisted, man. Crossover Radio its footprint is growing both in size and in relevance. That we have senators' offices listening to us and saying these guys are doing the right thing.
Man, that is incredible. So any other thoughts regarding the immigration forum? And I know it's not a political show, but hey, this is kind of a special time, a special event that we're able to be a part of. Just trying to get some of you guys' thoughts, like what you're expecting from this forum. Besides just the overall objective of trying to come up with a good solution, what are you guys expecting to hear and get from this?
Well, yeah, for sure. And, that's a great question for us to kind of wrap up on as we get ready to, go grab the train today. But, for my thoughts, and I'll let Phil answer for himself, but my thought is this, is that, it's going to be an interesting time to open lines of communication about coming up with a bipartisan plan on immigration, not Republican, not Democrat. We need something that is, and for us as believers, we need something that's biblical. Mm-hmm. So, we want to take care of people in a biblical manner. We want to take care of people the right way, the way Jesus would. And so that's what we're about, and that's the voice that we have. Obviously, Crossover Radio is whatever's right by the gospel is right by us. So that's kind of the stance we're going to take, the approach we're going to take, and we're going to listen to other folks and their ideas and their thoughts on that, and just kind of put all the brains in a jar and mush everything together and try to come up with something good.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's exactly. So, I mean, to piggyback on something, I'm going to paraphrase AFK for a second, is that we shouldn't look for the Republican answer. We shouldn't look for the Democratic answer. We need to look for the right answer for the country. And so, I'll just give you guys a sneak peek. One of the questions I'm going to ask Senator Langford tomorrow is that, the country craves something coming out of Washington, D.C., that is both bipartisan and effective, just if for no other reason to prove to the country that we can still do big things together.
Yes.
And so that's one of the things that I asked. I'm going to ask you, Senator Langford is co-sponsoring the Succeed Act with Senator Tom Tillis from North Carolina, and so that's what I'm going to ask: is that is this a big thing that we can do in a bipartisan way? That shows that the divisions that we see, and that we can still get this amongst us, as far as partisanship and partisan bickering, can be put aside for at least a moment to do big things and right things well.
Yeah. Man, that is incredible. Well, it's going to be something I'm super interested to find out and definitely get more on. And man, no better place to get the news, the updates, and get all the lowdown than here right on Crossover Radio from Jeremy and Phil, who are live in Washington, D.C. for the Immigration Forum. This is going to be incredible, and man, we're definitely looking forward to hearing more from you guys in the coming days.
Keep to cross over into the Facebook page, man, because here's the deal. If something breaks, if we are able to get an interview, we're going to be media credentialed, we're pretty sure, for the National Immigration Forum, so we're going to have an opportunity to do a lot of cool things. But we just can't predict what those cool things are yet, and can't tag a time. So, man, the next, there's two things that we need from our listeners for the next 48 hours. Jeremy and I covet your prayers. We need your prayers that we make much of Jesus and make much of the gospel and make much of both of those things in this forum and in this deal about immigration. And second is that as we come online, sometimes even kind of breaking news and kind of just come on. We need you to like, comment, and share, and make sure that we expand the footprint of Crossover through this event and through this avenue.
Yeah, most definitely. Well, hey, thank you guys so much for joining me this morning, and man, it is going to be exciting. Well, you guys have a good day, and you guys be careful.
Yeah, man, appreciate it.
All right, bye. That was a live break-in by Jeremy and Phil from Washington, D.C. So they're there at the Immigration Forum, and if you're just now joining us on Facebook Live, the biggest thing is there's an Immigration Forum going on right now in Washington, D.C., and it's going to be going on for the next couple of days. And Jeremy and Phil are there live covering it. And as new things break, as they get interviews, as they have their interview even with James Langford, which is going to be incredible to just kind of hear his personal thoughts on some of these questions. And if you got Jeremy and Phil there, they're going to be asking very real and serious questions. And so it's going to be a really great time. It's something that you'll definitely want to stay tuned for and stay listening for. It is going to be great. Now, if you're listening and you're going, man, that had nothing to do with technology, that's okay. Sometimes things are bigger than your current show. Some things are bigger than technology, definitely. And so we definitely had to break in for that because it was just such an outstanding opportunity that the station has, and just such an immense privilege that we have to be there, and definitely wanted to bring that to all of our listeners as much as possible. All right, let's go and do this. We got about, let's see here, 8 minutes till the break. We got 8 minutes till the break. We are going to discuss some of the latest happenings in the tech world. That's right. We are going to do Rapid Rewind. That's right. This is Rapid Rewind, where we cover the latest happenings in the tech world from the past week. So go ahead, tune in, listen up. It's time to catch up on your technology happenings from the past week. All right, iOS 11.0.2. It dropped to address a crackling iPhone 8 audio problem. If you have an iPhone 8 and you go, man, I was one of those people affected, there you go. You need to get the new software. Just go through your settings, general, and there you should have an option for software update. Update your software. It should help and fix the problems with that, as well as it claims to fix problems with photos and encrypted emails. Apparently there's a problem going on there. So you definitely always want to keep your eye out whenever a new iOS drops, because they will quickly release other iterations to fix certain bugs that they didn't catch in the process, which we talked about that actually last week, how, you know what, that's just part of life. You're not going to catch everything. When you have a company as big as Apple and they have these kind of problems, well, of course, you should expect it. No one's perfect. So that is one thing. iOS 11.0.2 has dropped. You need to download it. If you are wanting to be on iOS 11. Let me preface it with that. All right. Another Windows VR headset enters with the Samsung Odyssey. I don't know how many of you are very intrigued by the VR, the virtual reality headsets. Typically, they're still very expensive. It's very expensive just for a fun thing. Even the Samsung one will cost $500 with a pair of motion controllers. Woo! Man, that is going to be a little steep. But you know what? That's, I guess, the price if you want to be one of the early people on that. Another thing, Walmart buys company Parcel in latest attempt to battle the Amazon delivery machine. This is a lot of these headlines coming from Ars Technica. Man, they are definitely trying to battle big time. This is going to mainly affect those in New York City. So it has acquired Parcel, a Brooklyn-based delivery company that specializes in scheduled and same-day package delivery of traditional items as well as groceries, meal kits, and other perishables. The report is the deal closed at less than $10 million. But again, it's just there in New York City. It would not surprise me, though, if Walmart increases that and expands it to other major cities. Maybe Oklahoma City can get some of that act. We'll see. All right, let's see here. Oh, Google Pixel 2. Google Pixel 2 is launching. There's a launch event today. That's right. The launch event will occur at noon Eastern, 11 Central. You can definitely check it out. It'll be pretty interesting. We'll see what happens then. Microsoft is reportedly getting out of the music business, moving Groove subs, I assume they mean subsidies, but moving, subscriptions to, so if you have a Groove subscription, it's okay. If you have a Groove Music Pass subscription, I would be really interested to know if anyone actually does have a Groove Music subscription that listens to this show. It's okay if you do, I'm curious. That was also formerly known as Xbox Music, but that has now moved, those subscriptions have now moved to Spotify. I personally use Spotify. I know a lot of people have iPhones, they like Apple Music. That's fine. I got no problem with Apple Music. But I like Spotify. I like Spotify a lot. It's a cool service. Their free platform is really good, especially if you're listening on the computer. Really good. You can set up playlists of your songs, and then when you're on your smart device, even though you can't choose a specific one, if you have the free version, if you have the paid version, you can choose whatever songs that you want to listen to that they have available. But if you have the free version, you can listen to any of your playlists. So if you only want to listen to certain people and you want to limit what songs you listen to, you can just create different playlists, play them on your cell phone, and it will do it randomly through that playlist. But then you have a limited selection of songs, which is cool. But yes, again, Microsoft getting out of the music subscription business, and I think just music business overall. This is interesting, though. This report says, I did not realize this. This report says Spotify is the largest streaming media service with around 140 million customers, but it's wildly unprofitable. Woo! In June, it reported losses of $601 million on revenue of $3.3 billion for 2016. The company has been expected to become publicly traded this year or next, a move that would stave off bankruptcy for a number of years, but Spotify appears to be no closer to developing a viable business model and payment structure that would enable it to turn a consistent profit. The company is also facing stiff competition from deep-pocketed competitors. Apple has Apple Music, Google has Google Play Music, and YouTube Red YouTube Music, and Amazon has Amazon Music. And by the way, Google has both Google Play Music and YouTube Red / YouTube Music, because YouTube is owned by Google. That's what that was saying. But Amazon has Amazon Music as well. I'm not even sure that Amazon Music is profitable. That's just my personal opinion. At most, maybe Apple Music and Google Play Music / YouTube Red YouTube Music are probably the only ones that actually turn a profit. Would be my guess at this point. But that's just my guess. But I still really like Spotify. It's a neat platform. All right, so that was that. Let's do one more. Let's do one more here. Then we'll roll to our break. Let's see here. Which one would I prefer to talk about here? Man. In fact, we'll talk about this. Roku, another TV streaming device. Which, by the way, I need to try it out. I need to try out the Roku. See how I like it. But the Roku is another TV streaming device, much like the Amazon Fire TV stick, much like the Apple TV. So if you're looking at these and you're like, I don't know which one to get. Interesting. Yeah, so Roku releases 5 new streaming devices and an OS update, operating system update. So there is a Roku Express and a Roku Express Plus. There's a Roku Streaming Stick, the Roku Streaming Stick Plus, and the Roku Ultra. 5 different devices that they're rolling out. I personally think that's normally a bad deal, but we'll see what happens. The Roku Express and Roku Express Plus retail at $30 and $40 each. The former is still the same old device, but has an improved chipset, so it'll run faster. Roku says it's 5 times faster than what we saw in 2016's model. The Express Plus offers composite cable connections for older TVs in addition to HDMI. That's funny. I haven't heard the word composite cable in at least a little while, at least in reference to streaming devices. But they're trying to, they're trying to appeal to a larger audience. That's cool. So if you have an older TV and you don't have HDMI, Roku Express might be an option. Express Plus, sorry. These are available at retail exclusively at Walmart. Now, the Roku Streaming Stick, which is going to be I'm sure similar to the Amazon Fire TV Stick, which I'm going to give a review on here actually in the next segment. Roku Streaming Stick Gets improved performance with that improved chipset. I believe it's the same. That's what this article makes it sound like. Adds support for 802, basically Wi-Fi AC or AC Wi-Fi, and dual band MIMO wireless. All that is just wireless jargon for it's better and faster than older technology. But a lot of your routers now have this kind of technology, the AC at least, and then dual band MIMO. That's becoming more common too. The stick comes with a voice control remote, like the Amazon Fire TV stick, which can also be used to control the TV's volume, assuming the TV is compatible. That's interesting. Interesting for sure. It goes for $50. However, it's capped out at 1080p HD. To go to 4K or for HDR support, you have to pay $70 for the Roku Streaming Stick Plus. The Streaming Stick Plus also comes with an improved wireless receiver that Roku claims offers 4 times the Wi-Fi range you'd get in the base streaming stick. All right, now the top end of the lineup is the Roku Ultra, selling for $100. You can also stream 4K and HDR. Its remote has a headphone jack. This is getting ridiculous. And the device itself has a micro SD slot and USB for storage expansion. That's cool. It also comes with an Ethernet port, whereas the other devices are wireless only. Last year's model did not support Dolby Vision, and the announcement of the updated model unfortunately makes no mention of added Dolby Vision support. Which is interesting because Dolby Vision, from this report, is one of the 2 competing HDR formats. Provides superior image quality to the other format, HDR10, but it is not as widely supported. That is interesting. We'll see what happens there. But this should be very interesting. We'll see what happens to the Roku. I need to try one. I really want to try one. Although I will say this, their Roku streaming stick is more expensive. Now it has support for 802.11 AC dual band MIMO wireless. That's okay. Still has a voice control remote. It says that it controls the TV's volume, but again, it assumes the TV is compatible. I'm not sure what that means. If it's just an infrared sensor at the front, you probably are in good shape. Probably. But I'm just not sure. I'm not sure what that stick remote looks like. We'll have to look into that more, and I'll have to test it out. But man, woo, $50. That's $15 to $20 more. No. Yeah, $50. That's $10 to $15 more than the Amazon Fire TV 6. So not terrible. Just depends on what you want to do. The one that has a remote for with a headphone jack, that's just a little bit, I don't know, makes me just kind of go, huh? But it could be useful. Could be good. We'll see, though. All right. This has been Rapid Rewind on Higher Tech. Technology with a purpose on Crossover Radio. Radio with a purpose. We are going to roll to a very quick break, and we will be right back after these short messages.
City Life Community Church is the proud home of Crossover Radio. We are located at 6634 Northwest 36th Street, right here in the heart of Bethany. You can join us for worship at 11 a.m. each Sunday, and if you can't make it, you can hear us right here on Crossover Radio. You can also join us for worship and prayer each Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. City Life exists to glorify God by making disciples and doing good in Jesus' name. We are here for Bethany and for the Northwest Oklahoma City communities. We're excited about the opportunity to serve you and your family.
Would your business, organization, or ministry like to connect with our listeners? Crossover Radio is seeking amazing like-minded partnerships to impact our community. Crossover Radio has cheap and affordable sponsorship packages available now. Call us at 405-494-0234 so we can help connect you with thousands of listeners every week right here on Crossover Radio. Again, that number is 405-494-0234. Call us today.
Tired of taking up a seat in church or just watching a production? Join us Sunday at West Metro Community Church in Yukon, a place where your life matters and you are more than a number.
We are located at 601 West Main Street in Yukon, and our worship service is at 1045 on Sunday. For additional information on our student ministry, men's, women's, and mixed small group Bible studies throughout the week, find our information at www.westmetro.org.
Come be a part of a church where all are welcome.
Crossover Radio. Radio with a purpose.
All right, this is Higher Tech. That's right, technology with a purpose on Crossover Radio, radio with a purpose. We are going to actually do a review. A review of a specific product. I'm trying to think if I've actually done this before. I don't know that I have. Maybe once, maybe. But I'm going to try to do more and more reviews for all of our listeners. So if you have different interests in different technology before you buy it, send it to me. Say, hey, can you give me a review of blank? And we'll see what we can do. I may already have the technology, or I may have already dealt with it. And man, if that's something where I can give you some advice and give you some help, I would love to do that. So yeah, we're going to do a review of the Amazon Fire TV Stick. So if you are listening and you say, man, I've wondered about those. Is it worth my $35, $40? Well, I'm about to give you a review. You can make a decision for yourself, and I definitely want to give you advice though. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and review the Amazon Fire TV Stick. I'm going to actually put on some music because I just want some music playing. I like music, as most people, and I would like to have some music going on in the background while we do the show. All right, here we go. All right, this is a review of the Amazon Fire TV Stick. As far as the overall premise, let me lay out the facts. The Fire TV Stick is a streaming device, TV streaming device, internet streaming device. The Fire TV Stick is just a scaled down version of their initial launch of the Fire TV. The Fire TV was one of those devices that they released to compete with the Apple TV, and Google also has their own called the Google Chromecast. No, it's like a Chromecast. I'm trying to remember it. I'm drawing a blank now. That's okay. But yeah, no, it's as far as what it is a competitor to those things. Like the Roku, it's a competitor to Roku as well. But it's a really neat device where you can put different apps on it that Amazon has support for, and you can watch different content and streaming content from your favorite places. Like if you're a sports fan, you like ESPN. ESPN has an app on it. All the major networks that I'm aware of have an app for it, so you can watch some of their streaming content that they make available online. Other companies and services also put their own stuff on there. You can get Netflix through it. You can get Hulu through it. You can get all of your Amazon Prime TV content through it, which is really cool. Because if you have an Amazon Prime subscription, I don't know if you know this or not, you have access to a bunch of content, a bunch of Amazon content. It's just included with your subscription. You don't have to pay extra for it. It's just part of it. And you can watch it all through your Amazon Fire TV Stick. And the other cool thing, it has a voice remote built into the remote, and I think that's the same for all the Fire TV stuff. Has voice commands that you can issue to it. It uses Alexa, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it is an Alexa voice remote. You can quickly find what you want to watch, according to this article by Amazon. You could ask for not just different apps, but particular shows or genres of shows. The other report is, at least on the new one, you can press the microphone button and ask to play music from Pandora order a pizza from Domino's, shop for popcorn and snacks, and more. I'm gonna have to try this out. I did not know this. And so when I get home, and next time we want to order a pizza, I've got to try that. How do you not try that? From your TV. That's kind of cool. Further solidifying people into their couches since 2016 or whenever this launched. So you can also, some of the cool things about that, if you like the Amazon Echoes or the Echo Dots, anything involved with the Echoes, this will, how can I word this? They will interface with each other, which is really cool. You can pair devices automatically with the first utterance, have multiple Fire TVs, or want to make changes? Manage your devices in an Alexa app under music, video, and books from your phone. It's pretty cool too. That is really, really cool. This is just this is another way to cut the cable cord. I'm sure I have a lot of listeners that have cable and that love it, and that's fine. I got nothing to say about that. If that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do, it's what you feel comfortable with, go for it. But for those who are looking to cut the cable or looking to try to make a change, save some money, this is worth looking at, things like this. Now, of course, if I'm not mistaken, there are different controls on it to protect your content from children. There are parental controls, if I'm not mistaken. So if you're worried about that, don't worry. I believe that there is support for that as well. So just be aware of all that. And but man, it's a really great deal if you're looking to try to cut the cable, but still have some of your content that you like to watch, different things that you like to access on your TV. So those are some of the facts. Okay, those are some of the facts. That's what it is. That's what it can do. That's what it offers. Now, to the review. I've been using a Fire TV stick since it's almost been a year now. I believe it was last October, November, December, somewhere in there. I got it for a special deal. I think it was like $35. It's normally $40. Not a great savings, but hey, you know, that's a lunch. But the Fire TV stick is what I went with. Our Apple TV that we had and used for years. We got it used from a friend of mine. But it's one that we had used for a long time. It served us well. I got no complaints with the Apple TV as far as what it was, especially at its time. The traditional Apple TVs, though, were pretty locked down, and you couldn't just put any app on it that was available. It had to be very specific ones that they put on there available to you. I didn't like that. They didn't offer Amazon Fire. They didn't offer Amazon Prime TV content on there. And I was like, kind of don't like that. I don't like the proprietariness of Apple and how locked down they typically are. But they had also come out with their special Apple TV that had a big hard drive, and you could download apps like, if I'm not mistaken, now you can actually download Amazon Prime TV as an app, so you can watch Amazon content. But all that being said, I wanted to try something different. I had a buddy of mine that he's a big tech person. I'm going to try to get him on the show sometime. But he's a big tech person, and he had used the Fire TV stick, and he had told me that he loves it. He likes it. He uses it, and it's one of the things that he would recommend. I took him up on that, and I love it too. I think it's awesome. The Fire TV stick, it's not perfect, but it's great. It's a really great streaming device. You would be surprised. It's probably the size of... it's a little bit bigger than a USB drive. Like a thumb drive. You know what I'm talking about? It's just a little bit longer than that. Just a little bit wider. And that's it. You plug it in. It has a cable that you have to plug in. Otherwise, it connects wirelessly to your internet. And to let you know, I put my TV and setup is actually right by my Wi-Fi router, just because of where I had the guys put the cable guys put the cable modem, and where I set up my Wi-Fi router. It's right by it, so wireless really isn't that much of an issue there because I'm right by it. If you are in a different room, that may be a little bit different scenario. You'll have to just make sure you have strong Wi-Fi support wherever you're putting the FireTV stick, because it is wireless only. But that being said, if you have a good wireless router, which I got a very good one, I got a solid one, and by the way, no, I did not pay a lot for it. Some people may go, well, you're a tech guy, you probably bought a really, really nice one and probably dropped a lot of money. No, I did not. I didn't. I think I paid $50 to $65. And I got it. Now, I did get a clearance deal at that time. It was a clearance deal at Walmart, actually. I couldn't believe it. It was one of the ones I'd been looking at, and I was like, gotta get it. Because I've been looking for a while and waited for a while to get one. And it was great. Anyways, sorry for that rabbit trail. The cool thing about it is it has a little bit more upgraded technology. At this point, it's kind of par for the course, sort of, but it's still, it's really good, solid. All that being said, I've got a good router, not a great router. I've got a good router, and the FireTV stick wirelessly works great with it. The FireTV stick, here's the good, the bad. Okay, I've told you about a lot of the good. Has the voice support, voice remote. It has, of course, it is HDMI only, so that's something to be aware of. It is wireless, so it allows you to move around, but that sometimes, this is one of the bad parts of that sometimes can be bad. If you're not in a good wireless coverage area, if you don't have a great wireless router, Wi-Fi router, then you could run into some issues with that. So just be aware of that. Just be aware of that. Couple of the other things with it. There are times that if it's left on for a while, if it's just plugged in, which, by the way, it's easy to do that. And that's kind of a thing that I saw with the Apple TV as well. They kind of just stay on, and the tendency is just kind of leave them on. And that's okay for a time, but eventually I think they kind of get tired. They kind of get a little bit worn out. And so you kind of have to just unplug them every once in a while. If you know you're going to be gone for a day or two, if you're just going to be gone for a long time throughout the day, I'd recommend unplugging the power to it, because otherwise, after a few days of it being used, and even after a week or so of it being used, sometimes it'll be just fine up till then. But you'll just start seeing it doesn't quite act right, and it may be wearing out. And so you got to be careful about that. Try not to wear out your technology devices. It'll make them last longer. But it comes down to a matter of convenience versus cost versus buying a new one versus making the one that you have last a while. There's all those things to consider. Okay. The convenience of just leaving it plugged in is you never have to go plug it in. But if you plug it in, if you unplug it and let it sit for a little while without power, that will help it reset. By the way, this is going to be a little bit of a precursor to what we're talking about in the next segment regarding your wireless devices not quite working well. Sometimes whenever this thing gets overheated or overworked, you'll be in the middle of an app. So let's say you're watching something on Hulu or Netflix, and it will actually just crash the app and go back to the home screen. Now normally you can go back into the app and you can start watching. Normally it's not that big of a deal, but it can be a little bit frustrating for sure. Again, it's technology. Things are going to fail. Things are going to happen. It's just how technology is. But that's one thing to be aware of. It's sometimes it's not always the most responsive whenever you're clicking different buttons on the remote. Most of the time it's good. It's not great, but most of the time it's good. And most of the time it is actually pretty responsive. So most of the time it is great with the responsiveness. But there are times where you'll press the button, you'll think, oh, I didn't press it. You'll press it again, and then it goes way down because you clicked the down button multiple times because you thought it wasn't going. But again, I've had things like that happen with the Apple TV as well, an older Apple TV, not the newer ones, just the older ones. So all that being said, those are some of the good, the bad with that. The FireTV stick, in my opinion, is a really great device. The only thing that you may not like, if you have an iPhone, which I do, they do have a FireTV app, where you can control it wirelessly. I'm still just, I most of the time just don't use it, which is my fault. They give me an option, but I like the integration that Apple TV has with your Apple iPhone. So that's kind of a cool deal. And the newer Apple TVs have voice support. They use Siri. They have it through the remote. The remote itself is touchpad, which is cool. It has a touchpad on it, which is a really neat deal. But it just kind of depends on what your preference is on that. I might be able to give you an actual review of the newer Apple TV in the near future, if that's something that you're interested in. But as far as the Fire TV Stick, overall my grade on it would be an 8. An 8 out of 10. Would I recommend it to people? Yes, I do. Will I still stick with it? Fire TV Stick. I can't completely claim that pun was intended, but it happened. I was aware of it, and it was a good one. It was good. But the Fire TV Stick, I will continue to use, at least for the foreseeable future. I am interested to try the Roku streaming stick that I was talking about earlier, and if you didn't catch that, you can just roll back the tape and listen to that as well. All right, this has been the review of the Amazon Fire TV Stick. And if you have any other questions about that, send them to me on Facebook. If you're on Facebook Live, you can comment right now. I will try to address any questions, any comments that you have. In fact, I have some that I got to get to when we come back, right before we talk about how to fix your wireless connection problems for your wireless devices, like a wireless keyboard, wireless mouse, and other devices as well. Like sometimes whenever your device, like the Amazon Fire TV Stick, crashes or doesn't connect and things like that, I will definitely try to give you some tips on that as well. So when we get back, we will go over those different things. I definitely want to be help and assistance to all the churches, all the ministries, all the businesses, and all the individuals and families that I can be regarding technology. I want to try to give you good information, good help for free. And so if you have any questions, definitely send me questions. You can join me on my Facebook page as well. It's Higher Tech, HIGHER space TECH. Pretty simple, Higher Tech, just like it's spelled. You can search that on Facebook. Follow, like the page. Really appreciate that. And also from time to time we'll put different messages or at least some different links for different deals on there as well. And that's a great place for you to contact me and get a hold of me. That way I can be, again, of assistance to you and your church, ministry, business, and family. All right. After these short messages, which are coming up, we will return and go over the help for getting your wireless devices reconnected, troubleshooting those different things whenever you have a problem connecting your wireless mouse, keyboard, remotes, things like that. So we'll be right back after these short messages.
Hey, newly engaged couples, are you tired of the same ho-hum, boring wedding reception every weekend? Don't you want yours to be the party everyone's talking about 3 months later? Then give us a call today at BTP Productions. We offer online planning forms, the best OKC DJs, lighting and sound packages, ceremony packages, and anytime consultations. We put you in total control of your party so you get your reception your way. Call us today at 405-609-9980. That's 405-609-9980. Or find us on Facebook. That's BTP Productions. The right music, the right DJ equals BTP Productions. Call today.
Crossover Radio is the best station I have ever listened to, even over other Christian stations. They are such a blessing. God uses this radio station that God started through the DJs and everyone on there to bless us and to show us Him.
Do you love coffee? Does your church, office, or business need coffee? What about getting amazing quality coffee at home from a business that serves our community and the world? Grounds for Compassion can meet your needs. The amazing staff at Grounds for Compassion would love to connect with you. There are 14 varieties, so you can't go wrong. Check out Grounds for Compassion on Facebook, Instagram, or at g4c.coffee, where you can place your order. Grounds for Compassion, coffee with conviction.
Crossover Radio, radio with a purpose.
This is Higher Tech on Crossover Radio. Technology with a purpose. On the radio with a purpose. That's right. All right, we are back. Have received some comments this morning. Appreciate that. Debbie says, good morning, Evan. Good morning to you. She says she shared it. Really appreciate that. By the way, if you have not shared this Facebook Live video and you're watching on Facebook Live, we would really appreciate that. If you're listening on the app, which is great. And by the way, Debbie has some comments about that too. And we're going to get to that here in just a second. If you're listening on the app, you need to still go to Facebook, share the video. We'd really appreciate that. Share the app with your friends. You can do that, by the way. You can share your apps. You can tell other people about it. Share it with them. Let them know. Say, hey, there's a really great app, and it's called Crossover Radio. Go download it right here. You can actually send them a link to it. When you share it with them, they'll actually be able to go download it themselves right then and there. You don't have to just rely on, hey, this is what it is, and rely on them actually spelling it, putting it into their app store, whether it's Google Play or Apple App Store. You can actually just send them a direct link to it right from your phone. If you're curious how to do that, let me know. I'd love to share that with you as well. But you can just share it right from your share button from your phone on the app itself. So, speaking of the app, Debbie says, she normally, regarding different streaming services, she says, I just stay with Netflix and Hulu. I don't watch my apps much. I'm always on the greatest app I have, and that is Crossover Radio, when not on Facebook Live. She loves Crossover. Can't listen to any other Christian station. They have nothing interest that I can't get better on Crossover. And Jay Knott, and by the way, thank you so much, Debbie, for your kind words. Appreciate it, and appreciate you listening to the station. Jay Knott says, rock on, Phil. Well, Jay, I agree with you in this sentiment. But then again, I must ask, why not rock on Evan or rock on Jeremy? That's what I want to know, Jay. So, Jay, if you're listening right now, I'm calling you out, bro. Calling you out. I'm just giving you a hard time. But yeah, no, it's been a lot of fun this morning already. We talked with Jeremy and Phil from Washington, D.C. That's right, they are at Washington, D.C. They're going to be reporting on the immigration forum. They're going to be doing some interviews. They have an interview set up with James Langford, U.S. Senator from Oklahoma, tomorrow. That is happening tomorrow morning, I believe at 8:30 Central. It's going to be a really, really great interview, and I'm really looking forward to that. So that's going to be fantastic. If you are listening right now, and you say, Evan, I have a question for you. And your question is, Evan, I have a wireless keyboard, or I have a wireless mouse, or I have a remote for my wireless Amazon TV stick, FireTV stick, or I have an issue with my remote for any of my streaming devices, or I have an issue with some kind of wireless connected component, and I don't know what to do. It's not working, and I need you to help me fix it. Well, you need to listen in. But if you do not have that problem, you need to listen in anyways, because that is so likely to happen to you at some point in the future, and that's not necessarily hyperbole, it's just how it goes. The wireless devices will sometimes unsync from your or desync from your devices. It's just what happens, and you need to know what to do to get that back up and going. A lot of times you wind up having an issue with a wireless device when you need it most. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through a couple of troubleshooting steps. That way you can definitely know how to approach that situation and know how to get your device back up and running. In fact, my mother just the other day had texted me and said, Evan, I don't know what's going on. In fact, she called me. She said, I don't know what's going on. My wireless mouse is working. I think it was the mouse. It was either the mouse or keyboard was working, but the other one was not. It was the keyboard. She said, my wireless mouse is working, but my keyboard is not. I said, that's really interesting. And what's really interesting about that is, so she has a computer. Let me give you a scenario. She has a computer. She has a little wireless connection USB. Okay, a lot of them come with that. It's this little bitty USB. You plug it in. That's the wireless part. And then your wireless keyboard, your wireless mouse all normally connect through that. And so I knew that if the mouse was working, the USB was working. And I knew that the keyboard should be working. So then we went through a number of things. And here are the things that you need to check if your wireless keyboard mouse are not connecting, not working. There are just some things to step through, okay? First, is that USB thing plugged in? If so, that's good. That's step one. Step two, are your wireless devices on? Normally, there is some kind of off-on switch. Normally, what happens is they sometimes get bumped off. Maybe you turn them off, you forgot about it. Make sure that those are turned on. If they are turned on, my recommendation right then and there, turn them off, let them sit off for at least 10 to 15 seconds. Overall, probably a minute would be best. Then turn them back on again. Give it up to a minute for everything to kind of connect. Normally it's about 10 to 15 seconds or less actually. But give it up to a minute for everything to connect again, then try it again. Move around the mouse a couple times, try to tap the keyboard a few times. If still it's not responding and nothing's happening, move to the next step. Make sure that the batteries are good. Okay, replace the batteries in it. Sometimes the devices will actually have a battery meter. We'll show you what the batteries are like. But you need to check the batteries. Try to replace the batteries. Even if it shows like it should still have some, but it's not quite, it's still low. Replace the batteries. Just try it. And if you say, well, I just replaced the batteries, well, replace them again. Let's see if it works. If it does, then those batteries are bad. Or there could be something that will help you save your battery life, and I'll get to that here in just a minute. But replace the batteries, okay? Now, I know I'm saying a lot of things which are like, oh yeah, that's obvious. Well, sometimes we kind of get in the heat of the moment. We're like, I don't know what's going on. It's got to be something technology. Sometimes it's just a very simple fix. Most of the time, whenever I've had to help people with technology issues, most of the time, it is a very, very simple fix that they go, oh, I didn't even think about that. Or, oh, I forgot to check that. And that's okay. That's how it is. And that's just kind of how it is with people and technology. And when I say people, I mean me too. It happens to me. I'm like, I don't know what's going on. And then someone's like, well, did you try this? Oh, yes. I did not try that. Nope, I did not. But yes, I do need to try that. So just something to keep in mind. So if you replace batteries, still is not working. My recommendation is go back to that USB. Let's make sure that the USB port works, okay? Unplug the little USB connector, plug it into something else. Or another USB port. And preferably on a different part of the computer. So sometimes your laptops will have USB ports on both sides. Plug it in on the opposite side, if you can. Try to make it work. So move stuff around if you have to, but plug it into the other side. Plug something else in that you know was working from your USB into the port that you unplugged from. Let's make sure that the USB port is working. If it is, then that's not the problem. So let's say you've done all this. You've tried resetting everything. You've checked batteries. You made sure everything is on. It's still not working. There are a couple of things that could be going on. One, the driver. The driver for your computer, it's kind of like, think of like a software, okay, that runs in the background to make your different devices work through the USB and other connections, okay? There's a thing called a driver. So you may need an updated driver. This gets a little bit more technical. All I can recommend ultimately is whatever the brand is for your wireless keyboard or mouse, go to that website, go to the website for that maker. Normally they will have something like support or downloads. You will want to go in there. You can search for your specific product. Get the product number. It's normally going to be listed on the bottom of your mouse or the bottom of your keyboard, something like that. Just search for that product, okay? And search for it. Normally it'll come up with downloads, and there will be things called drivers. And normally they should list somewhere near the top, if you get to the drivers section, for the downloads for your device, your specific device. Make sure it's for your specific device, your specific product number, model number. Okay? So if you have an M724 Logitech something, Logitech keyboard and mouse. I'm not sure if that's an exact model number, but if you have one, that's what you would search, M724, on Logitech's website. And you're going to look for the downloads and specifically the drivers. Look for the one that shows the most updated. Normally they'll put a date. Normally they put it toward the top. Sometimes they'll reverse the order from oldest to newest. But still, look for the most recent one, or the largest number. Sometimes it'll be like driver 13.2.1, and the one before that is 13.1.1. Well, 13.2.1 is going to be the most recent one. They're going to build those numbers up as they make new releases. So look for the most recent driver, download it, try to install it, and see if that fixes. Okay. When you download it, normally you can just like double click it. It'll install normally, and you'll be on your way. If that doesn't fix it, the other thing it could be is just that you need to power off your device. So before you go through the trouble of downloading the driver, before you go through the trouble of trying to get an updated driver for your device, my recommendation is turn off, shut everything down. Shut down the computer, laptop. If you're using a wireless device for your smartphone or your tablet, some of these things are applicable, like the batteries, turning it off and on, things like that. Those are applicable. You're not really going to have to worry about drivers with your phones and tablets, your smartphones and tablets. Normally that's not an issue. They're gonna have something running in the background, at least for Apple, and even on Google Play or Google the Android. Sorry, you're gonna wind up being. You may have to download drivers for that one, but still, I think it typically stays updated or it downloads whenever you plug it in or connect it wirelessly. But still, all that being said, a lot of this is still applicable. You turn it off, all that kind of stuff. Check batteries. But if all that doesn't work, turn off your computer, turn off your smartphone, turn off your tablet, and turn off the wireless devices. Let them all shut down completely. Leave it down for at least a minute. At least a minute. Maybe two. That's going to allow certain things to clear out in the computer's history, in the phone's history, in the tablet's history. That is called caching. Okay? Sometimes that needs to be cleared. Sometimes things just need to be reset, and it needs to kind of boot up and get the right process or do the normal processes, and then everything will start connecting again like normal. In fact, my mother ultimately had to do this to get the keyboard back up and running, because we went through a number of these different things. And again, it was just this past weekend. And so she went through a lot of these different things, and then finally the reboot is what did the trick. Everything else was fine. She just replaced the batteries. Even if you just replace the batteries and it still doesn't work, my recommendation is still to say, hey, you may want to still make sure that those batteries you replace it with are working. Batteries, sometimes, the ones that you grab, could be old ones that some of your loved ones put back in the case. I'm kind of guilty of that sometimes. Or a lot of times, sometimes. Not so much anymore. But someone could have put it back in there, and then you just grabbed old batteries. Sometimes the batteries could just not have been handled correctly at the factory. So all these different things can contribute to that. And so it's just things to be aware of. Try to replace the batteries a couple of times if it doesn't work. And if it still doesn't work, if you replace a couple of times, likely it's not the batteries at that point, if you know that they're new batteries. And it's just something where you need to reboot the device. For my mom, that it worked. It actually got everything back up and running. She let me know, hey, everything's good now. So those are some troubleshooting tips for wireless devices. The same thing goes with sometimes your Amazon Fire TV stick with the wireless remote. Sometimes it doesn't quite respond whenever you're clicking the buttons. It doesn't respond as fast as it normally does. Things like that. Try just booting it down. Give it a break. Let it. If it's a streaming device, personally, I would let it sit without power for a little while. Just let it take a break. Because again, those are just small computers. They put out a lot of heat. When computers get hot, they tend to not perform as well. And same thing for your phones, same thing for your tablets, same thing for your PCs, your laptops, your streaming devices, you name it. If it's technology and it gets hot, typically it will start messing with it. So you need to just give it a break sometimes. So whenever you're not using it, try to just power it down. I recommend actually unplugging the power from your streaming devices if you have to do that. Normally that will help make things work better. Normally. If it doesn't, contact the supplier. Contact Amazon, contact Apple, contact Roku, whatever streaming device that you use. Google for their Chrome TV, Chromecast. I would definitely recommend doing that. All right, so this has been a really good conversation. I think it's been trying to with Jeremy and Phil. That was a great conversation about the immigration forum that they're covering. Also talked about different things this week in the tech world. And again, if you use a Yahoo account, you didn't know that your account was compromised back in 2013. Okay, when the big scandal broke, they now came out with, hey, everyone was affected. All 3 billion. Were affected. So just, if you're not aware of that, make sure you try to handle things appropriately there. I talked about that earlier, so you can roll back the tape on Facebook. You can definitely listen to this episode 10, Higher Tech. Also, we talked about I gave a review of the Amazon Fire TV stick, and talked about some other TV streaming devices, although I don't have a wide experience with many of them. But again, I talked about some of that stuff. I'm going to try to maybe see if I can get my hands on a Roku streaming stick. That way I can definitely give a review for all of you as well. And ultimately, we talked about how to reconnect your wireless devices. There are different steps that you have to go through to kind of reset the devices and get them operating correctly again. Now, we started something last week. So to kind of close the show, we started something last week called 1-to-1. And that just stands for a ratio. Okay, it's just 1-to-1, 1:1. Normally, with like TVs, resolutions are represented in ratios sometimes. And so I just using it as an opportunity to say, look, I want to make a correlation between faith and technology, a 1-to-1 correlation. From faith and technology, I want to try to bring those things, because overall, this is technology with a purpose. And the purpose is Christ. And this is radio with a purpose. The station is radio with a purpose. The purpose is Christ. And I want to be able to draw a correlation between. I want to be able to draw a correlation between faith and technology. The correlation I'm going to draw today, so we talked a lot about wireless connections, and sometimes you just got to reset them, right? Sometimes you just got to just power them down hard and let them just break for a little bit. Let them just rest. Often in the Christian life, and just in everyone's lives, we get running so busy. We're so active. We have so many things going on, and we're always on. Okay, we're always on. Constantly. Always. And instead of resting, instead of seeking rest, we just keep going. Until finally we get so burned out, we get super sick. Sometimes we just wind up just crashing for a day and just sleeping all at once. Sometimes we wind up responding sharply to people because we're not in a good mood. That's still not an excuse. A, you can prevent that, and B, you still have to watch your tongue, right? That's what Scripture tells us to do. Watch our tongues. But the correlation I want to draw today is just in a similar way that we have to power down different devices, kind of give them a break, give them rest. we need to try to make a concerted effort to make sure that we power ourselves down. We need to unplug from social media, unplug from our technology that so often consumes our thoughts, our minds, our ears, our eyes. And we just need to unplug. Now I'm not saying abandon all responsibilities. That's not what I'm saying, because that's not scriptural. But those things which aren't responsibilities, those things which consume so much of our time but aren't necessary, we need to make a concerted effort to unplug from those things from time to time. We need to give ourselves a break. And ultimately, we need to seek rest in God. God offers rest. God is the only one who can give you true rest. Let's say you're listening right now and you don't know Jesus as your Lord and Savior. I'm not sure. That's between you and the Lord. But let's say that you would say, I don't know Jesus as Lord and Savior. I just like listening to the tech stuff. I like listening to the station. That's cool. We really appreciate that. And ultimately, we as a station, we love you all. But if you are listening to the station right now and you do not know Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior, and you're like, man, I have no idea what rest really is. I'm always in turmoil. Sleeping is about the only kind of relief I can get. And sometimes not even that. Let me tell you right now that rest is only found in Christ. You can only find rest in Him. You can only find peace with God in Christ. That's it. And so my encouragement to you, if you are a Christian, seek that rest. Pursue God. Unplug from everything else. Pursue God. Pursue God with your family. If you don't have a family that you're with, you're just a single person out there on your own, just going through life and trying to make sure that you serve God and love God. Unplug. Plug from everything else. Maybe get with your friends. Get with your family that obviously you don't live with. If you live with your family, go be with them and worship God with them. Get to know God with them. Read the Word with them. Unplug. Unplug from your technology. Pursue God. That is where your rest is. You need to get rest. And that's the real rest. Yes, sleeping is good too. You need to sleep. Don't try to just wear yourself out and stay up all the time for all these different things. I have a bad tendency for that myself. I'm really, really bad about that. I don't sleep well. I don't get a lot of sleep. I don't get as much as I should. And I need to make a concerted effort to do that more. Because it's better for me, it's better for my family. And ultimately, I believe it will help me serve God even better. And that's our goal in this life. That's our purpose, is to serve God, to glorify God. And so my word to you is unplug. Find time today, find time this week, find time consistently to unplug and pursue God. Plug into God. Always be plugged into God. If you are not a Christian though, and you say, man, I want to know more about this piece, send us a message. Reach out to us. You can text us 405-494-0234. All of our DJs will be able to take a look at that and help you and offer help for you. You can send messages to us on Facebook, on our Facebook page, on my page. You can send it to me. Send it to me through there. Would love to be able to be of assistance. If you reach out and say, hey Evan, hey, I just need some help. Can you help me know how I can know Christ? Reach out to me. Love to help in any way that I can. So send a message to me, send a message to the page, send a message to the station, and we would love to help you. But definitely, always feel free to message me through my page, Higher Tech, or again through the station Facebook page. We would love to help you in any way that we can. All right, this has been Higher Tech. Again, thank you so much for listening. If you're on Facebook Live, please share this with your friends and family. We'd really appreciate that. And man, if you are not listening to the upcoming show, the Dadcast, you need to stay tuned for that. It occurs at 9 o'clock Central, and man, it's a treat. You need to listen for that. Jay Mills and Tartar should be bringing it to you since Jeremy and Phil are off gallivanting around in Washington D.C. All right, I will be with you guys next week. You can also catch me on the sports show 3rd and 1 Mondays and Friday mornings with Dustin, and would love to chat with you about some sports there. But again, feel free to send any questions, any technology advice, questions, and comments throughout the week to me on Facebook via the Higher Tech Facebook page or the Crossover Radio Facebook page. I pray that God bless you and that you have a great and safe day today.